shown us more drops or injured?
No, that's unfair. Tom wasn't dropped. No, he's being managed. He's had a bit of a grumbly knee, and Tom, at his stage of his career, that's probably not an unusual thing that's going to happen. But it's clear that he hasn't been absolutely in his best form. But he's our captain, and we respect that.
Do you have an idea of how much the knee might have contributed to, I guess, a slower start to the season for Tom?
Yeah, he would never be the person to use as an excuse. But we need to sometimes protect him from himself because he's such a great person for our footy club.
So what's the difference then between managed and permitted or injured?
Well, you could push on to a point, but you're not getting him the best chance to be his best. That's the difference. And we want to give him the best chance to be his absolute best. And we're in a situation in the season where we're up to round 5, and that means Tom's up to game number 7, which means we're actually getting to that stage of the season where this won't become an unusual thing. I think I've seen clubs already been managing players in the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is not surprising to me.
So protecting him from himself, does that mean that was more a coaching decision than a Tom decision? And if so, how did he...
No, it's Tom and I've got this great relationship that we have conversations all the time around what's best for us and him, and very rarely is it about him. It's more about the team, and that's what it's been like this week.
What was his view of it then?
I know Tom just do what we need to do for me to be at my best and for the team to be at their best.
How has he, I guess, reacted? How has he handled, I guess, a poor start to the season by his usual standards, and then just copying a fair bit of criticism externally?
He's a resilient person, and he doesn't worry about that stuff. He doesn't worry about the outside stuff. He worries about what he can control, and that is he leads his team incredibly well.
Was Ollie Wines ever a risk of not being able to play?
This week?
Yeah.
There was a few players that are at this stage of the year that are at risk. No one's probably not ever at risk. Ollie's been dealing with a little bit of an issue himself, but he's getting to a point where he can get through the games. But there may come a time that we need to look after that.
It feels like he's only sort of just going at the moment. Are you confident without that pre-season with the league that's still giving him a bit of grief that he will be able to get back to somewhere near his best?
Yeah, it depends what you call just going. I mean, that's a difference from if you're looking at pure numbers on the stat sheet. Maybe it suggests that he's not getting 35 and 40, but he's still playing a role that's pretty significant to us that allows other people around him to play at a level that's really important to us. So I think just going is probably a little unfair.
You talk about Jonas's leadership. How do you cover that void in what's at the big game for the club? You saw the rise of the nation on Adelaide Oval last night. How big is that occasion, and then how big a loss?
Yeah,
not having a skipper there.
Look, they're all big occasions. They get the gather rounds a really exciting week, and it's been fantastic for our state. We'll enjoy that and embrace that opportunity. But every round's big. Every round's got the same consequence on it for us. It's 4 points that are really important. We're playing teams that are all around us on the ladder, and particularly we're playing Bulldogs. We're both fighting for a desperate win. We've got great history against each other. It'll be a tough, hard game. It'll go right to the wire.
Is there a different kind of feel around this though? I mean, does it seem close-ish to a final, like a finals type of game?
Oh, no, not so much for us, I wouldn't have thought. I mean, every game's important though, so the separator between a finals and winning a home and away is, I get it, they become a bit different at that stage of the year, but right now they're all equally as important to us, so it doesn't feel that much difference. We understand the battle of an AFL season. It needs you to continually work to get enough wins to get to the end of the season.
Has the form of the Crows last night added a bit of perspective?
Sorry?
Has the form of the Crows the last 2 weeks added a bit of perspective to that showdown?
Oh no, I think we acknowledge that the competition's even and every team's capable of beating any team, and that's what we've seen week in, week out. We don't lose perspective as coaches. I don't think we ever lose perspective. I think it's people that sit on your side that maybe lose a bit of perspective on what this competition's about and how hard it is to win every week.
Around this time last year, we saw Connor Rosie kind of move a lot more in the midfield, kind of blossom. Are we starting to see the same with Zach Butters? His midfield minutes, CBAs were significantly up against Sydney last week.
Yeah, Zach, Connor, Jason, Willem, Ollie's a senior member of that, but we're managing to get a lot more minutes into quite a few younger players in that area of the ground, and we get that that's part of our growth, and we won't be frightened to do that. We won't be frightened to pull back from that if we have to. We just need to do what's right for the team. Yes.
Is it improving, or is it at the same sort of rate for the last 4 weeks?
If I tell you exactly what's wrong with Ollie, you'll be surprised that it's not his knee.
Well, he had a scan on his leg in the week.
He's got a calf that's a bit sore. There you go. That's what's wrong with Ollie. So it's not his knee. It's actually his other leg. For those who are worried,
So what do you do with that?
manage it. It's a footy season. You never got everyone. As I said, this is coming up to game 7 or whatever it is in pre-season and all the trial games and all the internal practice matches that you do. There's a lot of football being put into these boys already, so you manage them every week now, and you know, you don't get everyone absolutely perfect from probably here on in.
Have you decided where you're going to work on Saturday night?
No. No, I'm going to check the weather out and see what's going to happen. And no, look, last week worked out pretty well, but we don't want to be a club that just continually has to follow the same pattern or not follow the same pattern. Tomorrow we'll make a decision on what's the right thing for me to do and for the team to do.
Will Darcy play as a pressure forward or as a defender? Have you decided on that one?
No, we haven't decided on that one yet. So again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly everything that's going to happen for us because we're playing an opposition who want to know a lot about what we're doing.
Can you put was it like seeing him last week playing that role?
We've done it before.
Yeah.
Darcy's done it before for us. He's played high forward for us a number of times. You know, I wouldn't say a lot of times, but a number of times he's actually played high forward. He was the sub last week. It gave us an opportunity when you're in that position of the game to put the player, the freshest player you've got, in a position where we needed it the most, and we chose that to be half forward. We wouldn't have been anything different if we wanted to put him at half back or we wanted to put him on ball. We would have done that.
Can you put that, the way you handled last week on a board for your players a bit, drops, comes in as a sub, impacts the game in a slightly different way, that attitude, can you put that up as an example?
Well, I think there's been a number of coaches that said they prefer not to actually drop your sub. I mean, that's reality. I mean, we'd like to manage it a bit differently, but you know, Darcy handled it really well, and he came in and played a really significant moment in the last 15 to 20 minutes of that game.
You changed up the way you played last week. Is it in case you need to find an even different style of game for the Western Bulldogs? Which way are you going to go with the way you want to approach it?
Oh, there's lots of... Every game's so different. I mean, you can't go in planning exactly what you want to get or what you don't want to get, because, again, there's elements that may be coming that could be weather, there could be all sorts of things. You know, there's lots of things that are going for and against you in a game, and, you know, you've only got to be into a game 5 minutes and get an injury, and that changes lots of things as well. So we prepare to play our way of football for as much of that we possibly can.
Do you expect it to be a bit scrappy? There'll be a game on beforehand as well, obviously, and it is looking like quite heavy rain. What are you expecting there?
Fell into this trap a few times, expecting the weather to do what it doesn't do. And that's what happens to us. So I just look forward to watching the game before us, which will be an opportunity for us to you get a good feel of what's going on out on the grass, hopefully before we get to go out there and play.
Do you do any preparation though this week for potential, you know, onslaught of wet weather footy?
It's hard out there when I can't turn it on, so it's... We'll be well prepared for whatever the conditions are. We won't have conditions as an issue.
How's Scooter going in your opinion, Ken? Spent sort of crunch time on the bench against this one. Where's he going?
He's going very well as far as we're concerned. We're happy with what he's been able to do. Obviously, he's playing our number one ruck position and has done for the whole season.
How have you found gather round so far? Obviously, 18 clubs here, fans everywhere. Have you been able to embrace it as a club?
I think it's been great. I really enjoyed it. I think for our state's point of view, I think we've done our Premier's done a great job of bringing this round to the South Australian people, and I think we've, as a community, we've embraced it. You know, the sellout. I thought I've seen 8 out of 9 games sellout. Might even be 9 now. I'm not sure, but that's just an outstanding response from the people of South Australia.
Catching up with any other senior coaches while they're here?
No, not really. No, there's opportunities to chat, but there's always opportunities to chat.
Can your opponent bring some pretty interesting matchups? Which ones are the Western Bulldogs the ones that challenge you the most?
Sorry, I didn't get the first bit.
Every game has a matchup that tests the team and opposition. Which ones are the Bulldogs the one that challenge you the most?
They all do. I mean, it's just I can't understand the fascination with what players, who players. It's what their team brings to us, and you're never quite sure what the challenges are. All we know is that against the Bulldogs, we've been challenged plenty of times by plenty of different ways, and that will be probably the case again on Saturday night.
Michael Pelly's a pretty handy player though.
He goes okay, yeah.
How do you handle such a dynamic player who can play a number of roles in so many ways?
Well, again, it won't be just Marcus versus us. It'll be Port versus Bulldogs, and the team that's got control will be the team that gets to probably highlight 1 or 2 or 3 individuals. It won't be the case. We'll be focusing on us as a team first.
Have you drilled down any further on the free kick differential, particularly when it's...
Yes, we're at the very bad end of it.
Yeah, but have you worked through how to change it?
We've looked at it clearly, and we look at some of the issues, and we've worked really hard on some parts of our game that have been reflective in the results of the free kicks going against us. So we're working hard on those things.
Is it more about you, or is it more about the rules or the other parts at the moment?
Oh no, I think we're responsible for our free kicks that go against us.
There's been some rush behind. Do you expect that now to be enforced a lot this week, given, you know, they kind of, the AFL said, you know,
That's the clarity we've got, so I assume that's the case.
Can I just ask one more?
One more.
Sorry, on the ruck, does what Charlie, especially at that sort of critical centre bounce at the end there last week, does what he does in the ruck give you a second thought about whether or not maybe you could deploy him in there from the very start of the game?
He's been pretty handy as a key forward.
Yeah. No further comments on his ruck ability?
Well, I think it's a handy weapon for us to go to, but he's been very handy as a key forward. I think he's kicked 9 or 10 goals already this year, so we'd miss him as a key forward, but we appreciate that he can go into the ruck as we do with Jeremy.